Whenever they're ready. Hey, everybody, welcome to another Wingin It podcast. So, it's gonna be a little bit iffy today. We're gonna have some people jump in and out.
Right.
So just be prepared for that, people. That being said, what's up, Jack? Man, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Just getting entertained by what is the internet as far as gaming goes.
Oh boy, that's always a funny thing. And Shadow Fox is in the house.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
What's going on, guys?
How you living? You feeling good, man? You feeling good?
Really
Feeling great?
Yeah.
Feeling great? Feeling good?
Rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated.
For a second, I thought you were gonna go into rumors of me seeing Andre 3000 at Kroger playing a bagpipe. Was greatly exaggerated, but okay.
Well, I mean that's definitely possible.
Yeah. Definitely that.
All right, so Andre's gonna be on a little bit later, people. So we'll tag him in as soon as he's available. But let's talk about the week in foolishness. Well, we're gonna start this off. We're gonna start this off with the positive note first, because once again, why is Nintendo like this? Nindy Direct.
Mm-hmm.
First of the week.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't tell nobody a damn thing.
Hey, shadow drop.
Jeez.
It's
So
just what they do.
Yeah, well, honestly, this is probably the first one that had nothing in it that I like. Did y'all see anything that y'all?
Outside of that, what was that? The Cyber Shadow game
Oh, yeah, Cyber
that
Shadow,
looks
yeah.
like kind of interesting, but even then, the only thing that I really slightly interested in was Spelunky 1 and 2. But other than that,
it's more convenient to play those games on Switch.
Right, exactly.
Like PS4 was like, not a. I don't want to commit to playing that on the TV.
Right.
It's just one of those things. So.
Well, that's for the like I said, the first, just like one of the first Nindy games that had absolutely nothing I was looking forward to.
Yeah.
No.
Nothing. Not to say it wasn't good. I'm pretty sure there was some stuff that people like. There was a ton of cat games for some reason.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little.
Direct.
I thought that was a little odd, but hey.
Yeah. So what do you think about Among Us though? Because that's like everybody was expecting that to happen.
Honestly, Shadow, if I'm going to be completely honest, I think you suspect, man. Are you the imposter?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you know.
All right, so who did you kill, dog? So who did you kill, man? It was you, wasn't it?
I mean, I'm the road ninja.
It was you in the cafeteria.
So, yeah, all the time.
It was you
yeah.
in the cafeteria. I actually think...
I don't care if witnesses are there or not. It's, it's you. No, it's not.
Why you killing me? Well, the funny thing about it was I was wondering when it was going to come because I'm like, there ain't no way in hell they going to miss out on all this extra money.
Right.
By just keeping it on mobile. There ain't no way. And
I remember the excuses for Wii U, but all of those things are gone now for like Spelunky and all that. Like you can't complain about the CPU and the architecture and all that now. So
well, and they're probably still trying to get their character in Smash.
That too.
Yeah.
It's funny, like all these indie games trying to get their character. Hey man, just let us get a me suit, man. Come on, man. Just give us a me suit. Just give us a me suit, man. Come on, man. Work with us, dog. Like, no, dude.
Feel.
Or better yet, how do we get a formally sanctioned amiibo out of you guys?
Yeah,
That's the other thing too. Because if you can get in Smash, you definitely can get an amiibo. And with Shovel Knight having an amiibo, man, that's a big plus up for them. So.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And it works across multiple games too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm like, wow, all right. But for the first outside, I would say this: Among Us is interesting because I've actually played that with a couple of friends.
Okay.
It's actually funny. I find it funny. You
got to have like the right group of people. I feel, even though I haven't played it, it just seems like you just got to have the right people.
Yeah, well, I think that's a local game more than online. But go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry.
Well, the funny thing about it is, it's the fact that when you're trying to figure out who's suspect and the suspect person can't keep their lie straight.
Yep.
I just think that's hilarious. I just think that's hilarious. I'm like, man, hold on, you ain't sounding right, man. Either the suspect person don't really talk that much, or they can't keep their lie straight. You're like, clearly it's you.
Right.
So, or now my favorite pastime, y'all know I'm a wrestling fan, and I watch AEW. So a lot of these stars actually have Twitch channels. And they have one on like Saturday night. That mess gets hilarious, dude. Like Leva, Brandon Cutler, who was in it the other night? Miro, Colt Cabana, Evil Uno. They was all in one, and that jump was hilarious, dude.
And they're playing Among Us, or they were playing something else?
They were playing Among Us.
Wow, that's interesting.
That jump was crazy, and Allie was on there, and they did poor Allie so wrong because she wasn't suspect. They kept saying it was her. Like, come on, dude. So yeah, I actually have fun watching like other people do that. But yeah, you kind of need a good group of friends to do that with, just because it's probably funnier that way.
Right.
But yeah, other than that though, yeah, not too much. So let's go into something that's equally hilarious. Cyberpunk 2077.
Well,
All right. First question up. Who should bear the brunt of the blame for this? Because people forget, CD Projekt Red is publicly traded, so they have a shareholders they have to contend with. They have stockholders and stuff. So who should be? Everybody's getting mad at the developers, but who should bear the brunt of the blame for this?
Should I stand on my soapbox and tell you the truth that people don't want to hear?
Go ahead.
It's the vocal minority in the gaming community. They asked for it. They wanted it. Yeah. Y'all kept saying, by not even knowing what this game looks like, insert console here can't run Cyberpunk. Well, now they've completely made a game they can't run on anything. Are you happy?
Right.
So, and you
on
want these
PC.
big sprawling games. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
It runs on PC.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So can you tell that when a console is not the priority, or whoever the lead platform is, they kind of get benefits out of that? So you would figure that if you're going to have something be the lead platform, it should probably be the lowest range of capability possible, so you can make sure there's a good experience across the board. Otherwise, things like this happens, which is why I've always been saying, like, why the hell isn't Switch lead platform? Or back in the day, why wasn't Wii U lead platform, or what have you? Because if you're going to make the hardware claim or what have you, and you want to have your game everywhere and market it to everybody, why wouldn't you target the quote unquote lowest end specification? So when you can put it on, if the other consoles are way more powerful, then it should be way easier for you to port to them after you make the lowest end version, right? I mean, it only makes sense, right?
They didn't have a problem doing that with the Wii.
Oh yeah, because they saw the money falling.
Oh yeah,
they saw the money falling. We said that last week or the week before, where I was like, they literally did an entire 480p version of Call of Duty 4, like the entire game. Like, so you can't. The excuses are gone. Like, I don't even want to.
And the funny thing about it was that was the best version of the damn game.
Right. Exactly.
No aim assist.
Ah, that was too hilarious. But yeah, I will say this. I think one, you're right. The minority, the vocal minority. But also, I have to put that as well on because stockholders and investors, they don't give a damn about your game. They don't care. We got a deadline, and I want my bonus before January. So
they don't even care about the backlash unless it actually affects them.
Right.
Because don't nobody see them. You don't see them. So they know, hey, look, CD Projekt Red, y'all gonna get eviscerated. We don't give a damn.
So now I didn't research this. Is CD Projekt Red the actual publisher also, or are they just the development house for this game?
I gotta go back and look.
The way it's been marketed, I don't know if Sony and Microsoft helped for each version or not. But I think it's ultimately going to end up with whoever was responsible for marketing this game to begin with, and I'm not sure if it's CD Projekt Red all the way.
Yeah. Well, the messed up thing about this, and I said this like 2 years ago when they kept like hyping it, something like this should probably just be a PC game, and they should just market it as such, and worry about the consoles later.
Yeah. CD Projekt all the way. It's all them. It's all their fault.
So okay, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like the brunt, but gamers cannot excuse themselves for this because they've done this. This is like, and Matt, sad thing about it is this is not the first time this has happened where gamers have said they wanted a game, they don't care how it is. Then when the game come out, they get mad.
Yep.
I'm like, nah, you got to give them time. Now, the thing is, I understand that CD Projekt Red trying their best to like salvage their reputation, but by doing all these apologies and doing refunds, now the messed up thing about it was Microsoft and Sony did not say anything about about promising refunds.
Right.
So once again, it's going to be very interesting how this plays out. But then again, they got mad at CD Projekt Red when they made that statement about you shouldn't have to pay for a game again if you bought it on the PS4 and then want to upgrade it. So remember they said that like 2 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah.
And Microsoft and Sony got mad then because they were like, "Shut up!" So,
so I don't know what they're gonna use as their excuse. But this game was developed with the fourth iteration of the Red Engine. But the only difference is that they've even specified as far as being the difference between this and Red Engine 3, which is Witcher 3 and everything else, is support for ray tracing. So I don't even know what exactly is happening on this engine to make it completely vomit on older hardware, or is it that you guys just didn't fine tune this engine the way you should have, and you thought that people were just going to en masse go out and buy the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, and even those versions need help? Were they expecting a patch? Or because at this point now, like there was no Ubisoft or EA saying you will publish this game like today. This was on them as a publisher and a developer, so they could have pushed this game back if it wasn't ready. So I don't know. Do you think there was platform holder kind of pressure?
Remember,
maybe Sony and Microsoft saying, hey, make sure this game is there because we need something to sell.
Especially Microsoft, Halo was not here. We need something to push because that way we can say, hey, look at how great the Xbox Series X is. But the thing that probably caused this game to have an issue was Cyber Rick Ross.
Oh, it's about Cyber Rick Ross.
It's a lot of pictures I see. The lighting engine is just different. Like the model looks the same. It's just shitty lighting engine, and I don't know what. I don't know how.
I don't think. Yeah, it was the lighting, and it was something else that from the few pics that I've seen of the PS4 Pro version and the 5, and I haven't seen the Xbox One X to Series X. I hadn't seen that. I've only seen 4 Pro to PS5, and
the same.
So I'm guessing the people that got mad had the original, the OG PS4, and that's where it's messing up at. Because I'm like.
Well, even in PS4 Pro, there's issues, but I think it seems to be more CPU bound more than anything else. Like everybody's, and it's not necessarily like the graphic, like the graphics are going to be what they're going to be, right? The lighting engine is going to be different than it is on the newer consoles or PC, right? But I think the big issue here is like clearly CPU issues and memory bound issues that they did not manage memory effectively, and you got stuff like textures popping in and out, going through like they didn't handle collision well. So there was a whole bunch of glitching, graphical glitches and stuff like that. That stuff is inexcusable, and I don't know where you go from there other than like PS4 should have been your lead platform. I don't know how else. Really, in this case, Xbox One, base Xbox One should have been your lead platform.
Well, no, what they should have said was, look, this can't play on anything under PS4 Pro and Xbox One X. We can't play it on anything under that.
I mean, but you can't do that when it was marketed strictly for this past generation.
But they did have that when they delayed it the first time, they had that big thing. They could have said something then. They could have just, look, man, it's not gonna run.
It can't.
It can't. It literally can't do it. So
have you guys seen the potato? Have you seen the potato videos? People with low end PCs playing Cyberpunk. So it's not even really the specs. It's literally just them taking the time to optimize. Because like even on low end systems, you get a lower frame rate and stuff like that. But the amount of issues that they're having as far as like clock physics and stuff like that, that's clearly them not finishing the game.
But I mean, it seems like CD Projekt Red works best with PC anyway.
Yes.
I mean, you look at all the Witcher stuff and everything else. So I mean, as far as console goes, I mean, even if they were going to delay it and say they couldn't do X, Y, and Z, I don't know how long it takes to do contracts and get everything in place. But I mean, they kind of had systems and controls and everything exclusively for Xbox, so something was in play.
And the other thing too is let's not pretend like the Witcher series has not had issues
Oh
on
yeah,
console.
buggy
Witcher
too.
2 was
Yeah.
Yeah.
and people pointed to that as being a performance beast. They're just like, well, this
Yeah.
console can run this. I'm like, but at what capacity?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like now that next year it played beautifully.
Yeah, they clean it up.
But that's what I'm saying. Like if you know you made this for PC, just put it on PC first, and then that way you have a more than enough time. Now the PC elitists are gonna piss all the rest of us off, but
Oh yeah, they're gonna brag for a year. But I mean, but that's the whole
so
point.
what?
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, PC gets MMOs; those are exclusive. Like,
Yeah.
the closest thing we got to an MMO on a console was True Fantasy Live, and that never happened. And then Final Fantasy 11 and 14. Like, you're not getting any of those like true. There's a million buttons to click type MMOs on a console. That's not happening. Even though you had a console that could have had you do it because it had a screen, but that's a whole nother issue. But time that console came out, I said, this is the console for MMOs. I think the time, but that's, whatever. And with that being a Nintendo console too, I definitely think they would have frowned upon that, regardless of what the specs were. It could have been the most powerful console, and they weren't going to do it.
They should just went third party, okay, man? If they just went
third party, I think that's more
from IGN said.
Yeah. So it's such a weird predicament because here we got Microsoft and Sony basically taking all the buzzwords from PC gaming, or the PC gamers, if you will, and trying to use that to how can I say this, to produce hype for this game that's not even exclusive for either one of their platforms. And they want to use that to market their platforms and say, hey, look, PC gamers, we play these things too. And yeah, it kind of, this whole console launch is kind of threw up in their faces. Like, it's not a good look.
So
Jack, this is one of the worst launches in history I've seen.
Jack, let me ask you this. So, seeing as how we've had all these issues with CD Projekt Red, and do you think the one thing that could probably save them is Cyberpunk, Keanu Reeves in Smash?
No.
You're so wrong for that.
They could put all of them in Smash if they wanted to, and they could do all the glitch characters, everything. I mean, nothing's going to fix that because this game had so much hype. So much hype because they showed that trailer hella early for this game.
What, 2016, I think it was the first trailer?
Yeah, I think that was the first trailer.
Somewhere around there, yeah. So, I mean, the fact that they showed it off that early, and, I get it. You have your ambitions, and you want to make the biggest and best game you can think of. But even watching some of the reviews, they were saying, like, some of the missions and the conversations are just fluff. It really, like, there's maybe two conversations or two choices that really pan out the game in a different way. But the other stuff really don't do anything. It just make you feel like you made a difference. But honestly, looking at this game and looking how it runs on the PS4, the base PS4 and like the Xbox One, and then versus the the Pro or the One X, or if you're playing on PS5 or the Series X, I'm curious as into what the next generation version is going to look like when they get upgraded, because they're supposed to come out early next year. The actual probably Series X and PS5 versions.
Probably way better, I would imagine, but it's and probably by force. I just don't think that. I don't think these systems were. Clearly, they're not ready. When you're launching, like, did I mention this last week? Like, Series X doesn't have a box. Like, you just buy an Xbox One game, and it says optimized for Series S or Series X. Yeah. Like, they don't even. They're not even trying to hide it. They're just like, this is an Xbox One game.
And they're trying to say, oh well, we just trying to share it across the board. I'm like, nah.
Yeah. But to be fair to Microsoft at least said that. They said that last year. They were like, look, goddammit. Look, we're gonna be honest for the first time in our lives.
So ray tracing.
2 years.
That buzzword has killed even PC gaming now, because now you've got Nvidia hiding actual performance of graphics cards once you take ray tracing off. Because the whole point of them was to say, hey, look, we got these many RT cores just for ray tracing, which means that we won't have as many for traditional rendering. So please ignore that and pay attention to the ray tracing part. So now people are going and they're doing reviews of these cards with ray tracing turned off, and they're not good, and they're defunding and delisting these videos. So it's so even on the PC end, it's bad. Like, I don't even know why they tried to do this anyway. Because anybody that's followed any of this kind of technology as far back as the old CGI days knows that you need grunt CPU compute to get this to work anyway, and our resolutions are too high to where everything works, to where everything is ray traced in real time. So coming up with this, hey, we'll partially ray trace reflections on this, a couple of subsampling and a little bit of shadows here. That's a piecemeal solution. That's not real. And as much as I am not the biggest fan of some of the engineers in Unreal, at least they knew that, hey, look, going forward is still faster for GPUs to use rasterization instead of ray tracing. So they're like, well, what can we do? Well, we could virtualize the vertices or whatever, right? And so yeah, even though you're looking at something that happened a couple of frames ago, it still looks more impressive than trying to ray trace some things and then you have a flat reflection here and it's literally just like it's just a texture that's floating in space, and then you turn around and then all you have these real reflections over here, and you can't pick and choose. Like that's jarring. I can't sit here and play Spider-Man and then I can see everything in the world reflected over here, and then I look over here and then it's just a flat panel and I'm standing in front of it and my reflection is in there. Like that's What's the point? What's the point of marketing this? I don't get it. And then if that's even an issue on the PC end, you know it's going to be a problem on the consumer end for consoles. So yeah, and all you can do is be Nintendo sitting in the back laughing. You're just like, and Reggie knew this back then. Like he just like, of course we know all the buzzwords y'all are throwing out. We know all about that, but it's like, but we build our games first. Yeah. And then that's. I don't know what to tell them. I don't know how long they can learn this after the fact. Like how many times they can bang their heads against the wall trying to please people that can't be pleased. Like build your games first. Like, I don't.
Iwata said it back in that GDC 2005, and nobody wanted to listen. He said, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, that you chasing a dream.
Yeah, law of diminishing returns.
It's not gonna work, and we didn't even tap out the 6th gen. We don't need to move forward yet.
I think we do have the technology available now where you could probably real time ray trace everything in 480p. I do think we have enough horsepower to do that now.
They trying to do it in 4K, and you saying we might have it for 480p.
Yes, for every object and every surface, the full scene being ray traced.
You got to remember the 7th gen, the PC, the PS3 and 360 days, that wasn't full 1080. Most of those games was like 540 and 720.
Yeah. And that wasn't ray tracing. That was normal rasterization. So that's not even.
And you got to remember back then they kept saying you was full 1080 60 frames a second, and they were not. We didn't get full 1080 60 frames a second on most stuff till 8th gen, mid 8th gen.
Yep, wow. a couple of PS4 games, and then Smash Brothers on Wii U.
Yeah, and then the only game that really hit 4K like it was supposed to was Spider-Man in 2018. Like it was supposed to, like it was designed to, and that was at what, 24 or 30 frames per second? 30.
30 on PS4 Pro, I think.
Yeah, 30 on PS4 Pro. So I'm like, yeah, dude, like it. Now people will tell you that I'm lying, but if you go back and look, and if you ever did any research, a lot of that stuff was upscaled. Upscale to 4K is different. Upscale to 1080 is different than what it actually is.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So it is what it is. Once again, that's why my regular job is IT. This is my hobby. That's why I don't talk about it.
Honestly, outside of exclusives, I think Cyberpunk is just a precursor of majority of what we're going to get for the rest of this well, not the rest of the generation, but for the first half of it.
Well, nothing's changing. No, at least the first 2 years. At least the first 2 years.
And like you said, Microsoft said it up front. And you'll get our stuff on the back end. And that's why I don't understand what people like, really, Microsoft 2022, 2023? Okay. You want more Cyberpunk games, or do you want a complete finished game that you can actually play without crashing your damn console or bugs all over the place? Because people are getting content. Like, it's at that point to where, like, even when I'm looking at Cyberpunk, from the previous conversations that I've seen, I'm surprised people are complaining, Because I literally heard people say, I had a great time playing Spider-Man Miles Morales on my PS5. Yeah, it crashed on me 3 times. And yeah, I had to start a mission over, but the SSD was so fast, it didn't bother me. Like, are you serious? That's almost like, I got something on my head. I didn't die, but, it's all right.
So you see how they condition people. They say ahead of time, this is the fix. And I'm like, so the fix is addressing a problem that you created in the 7th generation, because we didn't have loads this long.
No.
Until y'all made these big bloated games, and now all of a sudden we need to fix that issue because that's the only thing y'all could use as a bullet point for selling this new box. And I'm like, and so you're going to use that to excuse all the bad programming issues in the game that you just played. I don't know what to say to these people, like, other than I hope this is your first time playing on a console. I hope this is your first console generation, because otherwise you're being sold, a bucket of water as you stand in the ocean. Like, I don't, I mean,
all of us, this is like our 5th, 6th console.
Yep.
We remember when it was actually
just like put it in and play it. Like, it was just seamless at that point, in the fact that we're chasing what we had before, with better graphic fidelity, and you have a little bit more of your realism, and a little bit more things you can do, and draw distancing. I mean, that's all cool, but if it's at the expense of the game, what are you doing it for?
And who said that? I think his name was Iwata. I want to say his name was Satoru Iwata. The same guy that people said he should be fired because he's running Nintendo to the ground, and that he doesn't know what he's doing. They should get an American to run it. Ain't that the guy who said that? Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I was talking to myself. Y'all saying?
So we're talking about graphics cards with 24 teraflops, close to 30, 40 teraflops currently now. We've got CPUs. Granted, a lot of these CPUs are a lot lower than what they tried to promise. But they're still infinitely more capable than, say, 6th generation or 7th generation. And we still have issues with clipping. We still have issues with collisions. We still have invisible walls in games. Even in open world games. How do you have an open world game and have an invisible wall? Explain that to me. The whole point of having an open world game is you can go east,
anywhere.
West, north, south, and there's nothing stopping you. So that bothers me when I go and I see a train going to a cave and I try to go into the tunnel, and then it's like, nope, you just continue walking against the black hole. Come on. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. We live in a day and age where, now we're to the point where you can have a console be a client and all the processing is done elsewhere now. Right. It can be done in the cloud, and we're still having these issues. So obviously the problem is the people they're developing, and the culture has not changed. So until that culture changes to fix the main issues from way back when, like 2000, 2001, don't come to me telling me that the generation has changed and we're still doing same generation stuff. We're still doing 6th generation stuff in supposedly the 9th generation. And I don't, to me, that bothers me. And I know I sound like a grumpy old man. I am, get off my lawn. But I mean, why do we have all this technology? Like, you would have never, if you told me that my phone would have more power than the GameCube or Xbox back in 2001, I would have laughed at you. Right. But now that's true. What are we doing with it?
So Shadow, what you're telling me is Breath of the Wild ruined it for everybody on these open world games, right?
Pretty much.
And that's, Havoc is how old? That's like Halo 2.
20 plus years? Yeah.
They took Halo 2's physics
Havoc
engine.
Was before Halo 2.
Yes, it is. Before Halo 2, but that's the game that made it popular. So, like, So we're talking about an engine that old or older, and they made it. Yeah, they made everything interactive. The things that people would brief you on in, like, Unreal Engine 4 back in the day. Look at this fire. Look how it burns this and that, blah, blah, blah. Nintendo's just like, hey, this old engine over here, let's fuck around with it. Oh, it can do this and this. Yeah, and it's just amazing to me that we have all this technology leverage now. And now we're talking about a studio that, for the most part, is is siloed. Like they in Japan and they're all in one room trying to figure stuff out across different rooms in the office or whatever. Compared to like Ubisoft or EA that has thousands of employees across the world, they can transfer ideas in a fraction of a second. They can build an engine together in a fraction of a second, and they have way more problems. I just don't. They should be superior. They should be in every facet, and they're not.
You got to master your craft to do that.
True.
You got to master your craft. True. You got to master your craft. If you ain't mastered your craft, I mean, you have situations like Doug Bowser saying that artificial deadlines equals a celebration, or there will be no Game Pass on Switch, or he was just off the chain this week, man.
Hey. Oh yeah, and people are mad at him because he was using Reggie answers. I'm like, no, he wasn't using Reggie answers. He's using old school Perrin Kaplan answers, the old Jedi mind trick. Hey, what are you trying to? Oh no, you're trying to get me to violate all our laws internally, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to tell you about what we got going on internally. So what I am going to tell you is we got stuff coming, and you'll be happy. Like, right.
First of all,
she said she didn't know what we was. They flew her to Japan, and she just saw it. And they're just like, this is fun. What is this?
You knew she was lying.
I mean, that was the truth. That was the truth because she told that one after the fact. That was after she stopped working at Nintendo. That dude had interviewed her, and she's like, well, they flew us out. They flew us out in 2004, and they were there in Japan or whatever. They were supposed to see some presentation, and then they just handed them this controller, and they were playing a couple demos or whatever. She's like, wow, that's fun, and they sent her back home. And they didn't even tell her that it was going to be like she didn't know whether it was going to be something for GameCube or at the time. They were focus testing Americans well before with their own internal staff. So if she didn't know and she's the Jedi and will become the future Reggie, then Reggie will become the future her, but
well, look, the fact of the matter is the guy's last name is Bowser. You should expect evil at all. So,
well, he's gonna do what he does. But...
Yeah, you should just expect evil at all times. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So you heard him talk about Switch Pro, right? You heard his.
Dude, that was hilarious to me. That was hilarious to me.
Like, get out of here with it.
Like, really again?
Be gone, Pop gone.
Well, here's the funny thing about that whole situation because we all know this. Nintendo does this all the time. They did it with the DS. They did it with the 3DS. There is an upgrade to the Switch,
right?
That they probably already have. Nobody said it was going to be 4K. Everybody else is saying all this other bullshit. Because, like I said, if they were to truly go 4K, you're gonna have to get a whole new dock because that dock's gonna now have to have a damn cooling system on the back of it.
Right.
Once again, anything with 4K in it, you cut that thing on, your phone or your tablet will get hot quick. And your battery is going to drain within like 2 hours.
Yep.
So what's the point? Now, that's how I'm like, okay, y'all really need to stop pimping that because that's probably not true. Now, what probably is true is they do probably have a better one because what happens with technology gets better. Those chipsets that are inside your Switch are like 5 years old.
Yeah.
Of course, there's some better ones out.
So I'm kind of surprised because Spawnwave watched the video that I did when I completely destroyed Super Metal Day. So he knew where I was going on here, but he still made another video talking about the T186 being in Switch. And I'm like, that is a completely different processor with a completely different stepping. You would have to change everything, write new drivers, new code, new firmware, new subroutines and everything for that chip to work. It's got to be along the T200 line of CPUs for anything to stay the same as far as Switch firmware goes. So if they plan on doing something, and that's a light upgrade, that's the Tegra Jetson, that he's talking about. This is just his prediction. You know, he's just having fun or whatever. But I'm like, that's not a logical jump. That's not what they would do. They're going to keep everything the same as far as firmware.
And the fun thing about that thing's out of date.
Yes.
Like severely out of date. So they'd have to. They're not gonna. No,
there's no point in going back and doing that. If you can't just take what you have right now and make it faster or die shrink it, then there's no reason to get an entirely different type of architecture, which the Jetson is over the original X1, and then try to retrofit that into your current ecosystem. Like, that's a lot of rewriting. And like he saw like some references to a new chip that said ABCD, but that had no references to a different Tegra stepping at all. And that will mean different everything. So you would need different variables, different places where things are going to sit in memory and all that, because there's a completely different memory architecture as well for going from those two, from T110 to T186. So it frustrates me seeing that, because I just go out like, I don't want to out nerd you, but like that. There's other things too that I hear in like politics today. They talk about certain things, and I'm just like, why are you lying to millions of Americans? Because it's not technically possible. But we could talk about that offline. But there's not going to be a Switch Pro without a complete rewrite. So if you see in the new code dumps a listing for several different models and a whole bunch of new code, then we know something new's coming.
Yeah.
But they could just hide it from you. Microsoft did.
I mean, but other than that, the most is going to be a slight upgrade. Probably fix the battery consumption. Probably give you a little bit better screen viewing.
Yeah,
because they're not gonna.
And the CPU doesn't even have to change. They can just clock it higher, or make it smaller or what have you, and then clock it higher that way.
I mean, I think what you look at the 3DS to the new 3DS, to where you look at how bad Hyrule Warriors ran on the original 3DS compared to the new one, we have that same situation with Age of Calamity, to where there's some times where it dipped bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you come with something that is a better revision to where, like you said, they change the clock speeds, they do everything they're supposed to be doing, because I mean, it's not like they're doing exactly what NVIDIA Shield does. We saw that from the beginning.
They downclocked heavily.
They downclocked it. So I mean, if you talk about boosting it up, overclocking it, whatever however you want to phrase it, I mean, as long as they can get their games to run how they need to run, I think Nintendo's straight. They don't need to go top notch, because everybody wants this to be a competition. And it's like, there is no competition, because even if you're looking at from Microsoft to Sony standpoint, there's no competition there. Nintendo and anybody, there's no competition. They're in their own lane. So I mean, as much as they want a console war for whatever reason, I mean, it's not going to work.
I think that's dependent on how you look at competition, though. Because if you're looking at competition as 1-to-1, then there's no competition.
Right.
But if you look at competition as everybody's bringing something else, something different to the table, and they're laying what they have out to see how well it does against other stuff, then that's competition.
Yeah, from that standpoint,
expecting 1-to-1 should not be the thing.
Right.
Nintendo could end this. They can kill Sony and Microsoft today if they wanted to.
Yeah.
All they would need to do is make a formal announcement today that say all Switch first-party games are now available on Steam. That's it. They're done. They won, because CD Projekt Red has already. They've like, hey, you got cross save on PC, you got this on PC, but nobody will buy another console. It'll be Switch and PC.
Hades literally just announced that recently, to where it's cross save between Steam and Switch. Yeah.
Yeah, the update went out last week, I think it was.
Isn't that the same thing for Game Dev Tycoon? Because they just did that too.
Yep.
I'm not sure what they did, but I know we were just we kind of talked about Among Us a little bit earlier.
They definitely do.
So that's $5 on Switch, but it's cross compatible with everything. So if you play it on your phone, PC, what have you, y'all can all play together locally or online. So you could be on the same network locally, and whether you have a PC or an iPhone or what have you, y'all can play a local game, and one person's playing on a wireless network with Switch against each other. It's just like that kind of stuff clearly shows you that there's something they have that the other two want, and they can't get it. So they're like, hey, well, here's all our games if you subscribe to this service, or here's all our games if you subscribe to this service. And Nintendo's like, no, we're still gonna sell them 60 a piece.
but with all these games doing this stuff now, this is the same thing I've been talking about, and we've been talking about collectively for years. Just put as many third-party games as you can, put them across the board, and just let people play together against each other.
Right.
Yes.
Third parties will make so much more money. They could sponsor competitions based off of it.
Yep.
Why did you have to say competitions?
There's a lot of
Sega might have been able to afford a Dreamcast too if Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo let that happen in the late 90s. Because they were trying. We talked about that before. They tried
that thing.
Yeah. Because that's what the whole reason why them and Microsoft was working together.
Yep.
That was the whole reason. But the funny thing about that, I that idea of that happening, and we talked about that with one game, Call of Duty Black Ops on freaking
Oh,
Wii U. There ain't no way in
Yes.
hell that
Mhm.
they would say everybody was cheating, except for the
Yeah.
PC and the Nintendo people.
Yep.
Yeah.
that look, hey, you could set up lobbies, but like, look, don't play on this unless you got motion controls or mouse and keyboard.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't jump in this lobby. You're gonna get
I
murked.
I think that's what should when going forward. It's got to happen at some point because they're not making money unless they can play with everybody. Like
Well,
so,
it
you
needs
want to
to happen.
maximize.
It needs to happen because you got VR games coming out now that use motion controls.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's pointless to not even have the availability. I would love to see a setup where an ecosystem setup where you can have somebody on a Switch, on an Xbox, on a PlayStation, on a PC, whether they're doing mouse and keyboard or VR headset, and everybody's playing together. Like, and you just weed out whoever's the worst.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get off them sticks, man. So, with that being said, now there's something that went on last week that we have to talk about because of the simple fact that Sakurai is a massive troll, and I loved what he
Oh,
did in that goddamn Sephiroth direct. So he called out the fighting game community.
ooh, he was talking about the frames. Mm.
Oh Lord.
He was talking about
So,
the frames of Sephiroth's attacks, and he
uh-huh.
just
So I would love to see the top Smash players, since they so much better than everybody else, play against that man.
Right.
So
go ahead. I would love to see them.
Since they know you, so they do all the frame data and all the counting and all that. And Sakurai
It's-
don't do all that. I can tell you right now, Sakurai don't do that.
Nah.
Well, I'm pretty sure he does. He just doesn't do it as crazily as they do because it's
Yeah.
his job to set that stuff up. So
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Right.
his job is he makes sure he's the one who's balancing his own game, which to me is amazing. But
Right.
because he does it on his own. So I'm sitting here looking, and I'm like, when he said that, I'm like, ooh, ooh.
that was a shot.
Yeah, that was a shot. Now, this is the second time he did a shot at somebody. The first one was on that Terry Bogard,
Mm-hmm.
because
Then,
they didn't know they didn't know who he was, and he spent
Then-
an
then
extra 15 minutes doing that. Gave him a history lesson.
Then there was that time he was doing the binary counting.
Yep.
so I've got a shameless plug here, but I've got some content regarding what they're doing in general and the reason why most Japanese developers are using delay based protocols for input timing versus something like rollback or GGPO for their games. And one of the things is they can't really control what their game state is from moment to moment, especially with the amount of varying different characters they have. I'll mention this. So the way rollback works is if I have a move that's 5 frames long, right? We're going to sync my move that's 5 frames long to be 5 frames on your end.
Mm-hmm.
Counting some input delay, or network delay, right? Say it delays my frame by 3 frames by going over internet to you. So we're going to make my input for the computer's end, for your computer's end, to be 2 frames instead of 5. So it comes out, and by the time the delay is counted, it's still 5 frames on your end, so you're able to react to it in time. It's kind of hard to do that when you've got a game like Smash Brothers, or even there are some moves in Killer Instinct even where you have some moves with extremely long delays where there's no math to make up for the difference, or there's going to be some type of spike, or there's going to be some kind of noticeable delay between individuals. Because if you start talking about a 20 frame move, because it's a special move or what have you, which is why they normally turn them off for special moves. But if you got a 20 frame move and there's any type of delay spike that's over 14 frames or 14 milliseconds or what have you, and then once it comes in on your end, we're going to both sit here for 34 frames to wait for that to catch up. And I know, that's only like a fraction of a second, but even when you're playing, you can notice that type of delay on input on your end while you're playing. You're like, hey, I pressed back and he didn't move. And
Right.
it tried to predict, but it was wrong. And so we tried to go back to the last input delay, but it had fixed itself. And when it fixed itself, the move had already just come out, so it fixed itself again. So you get to see 2 jumps of the character. And I don't know if anybody's seen GGPO be bad, like with somebody heavily spiking, like playing overseas or something like that.
Oh,
But
Street Fighter 4.
it looks like your player is teleporting. So you're playing against somebody that's and it's input accurate, but it doesn't look accurate. You're doing this, and that's not playable. So they're trying to force. They're like, hey, first of all, Smash Brothers should use this kind of stuff. They will have to rewrite the game. This game was designed to be played locally, with the serial connection locally between this console and this person, whatever, playing on the same system. And for them to change all of that, that means they have to rewrite how they wrote a lot of the characters. They have to change a lot of sounds, because a lot of sounds are timed with frames. A lot of physics are timed with frames. All that stuff would have to be separated to where your input is on one layer here and the rest of the game is on one layer here, and they're not. Everything's made together because your input is usually the first thing you start programming in the main line of your code for a game loop. So you would have to undo all of that. There's a bunch of tweets from a lot of developers talking about their problems, either trying to shoehorn rollback code into an existing delay-based game they had or not. But I mean, Sakurai's just gonna troll, because he's like, look, dude, I've been building this game for the better part of 15 years. Y'all got to leave me alone. And every time I bring something out, y'all come running anyway. So.
So let me get this. So Shadow, I think I understand what you're trying to say here. So basically what you're saying is, do not play on Big Blue.
I think so. And I'm gonna step off my soapbox because I'll be preaching for a minute. But it's man, I see the quote unquote Smash community, and like I said, I think a lot of these people don't want these problems solved. They just want to they just want to scream into the void and think other people are screaming with them.
Right? Well, they're really not. This is the thing. It's easier to draw attention if you're yelling and screaming about something rather than talking about what you like about it.
Right.
It's always easier to get attention that way, because everybody's looking for negativity and drama, and they want something to clamor to or to point out and say, "Oh, that's messed up."
Right.
I mean,
so if they go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, if you really want negativity and drama, just watch New Mutants.
Ouch.
So the whole thing was, hey, we want to mod this game and we want to make money off of modding this game, because it has nothing to do with playing for free. If everybody just played for free, it wouldn't have been an issue, because Nintendo wouldn't have said nothing or did anything.
Well, they would have said something about Slippy.
Yeah, because that is still a modification.
That's still a modification of that game. Yeah. But if they weren't making money off of it, definitely it wouldn't have gotten as many eyes as it did.
Yeah. But here's another problem that I don't know if y'all heard about it or not, but it was that they didn't even contact Nintendo prior to getting everything set up.
They just said they pretended like it was going to be another local tournament, and they tried to run it that way. Yes, that's what caused the problem to begin with.
And that's when Nintendo hit them with that cease and Nintendo contacted them and told them not to use Slippy. They pretty much said, "To hell with you," and that's when Nintendo hit them with the cease and desist.
And then they got hit with the cease and desist, so they get to play the victim card.
So you're going to emulate our game, then you're going to mod it to play it online the way that you want to, and then you're going to make money on top of it too? Wait, what? Hold on. Wait, did you make Smash Brothers? I'm confused. My team of lawyers behind me think that we made it, so I'm trying to figure.
And the killer to all of this, Nintendo just dropped that they're doing another Smash tournament.
There you go.
They're doing their own.
It does. And so the
fix and Sephiroth and Bayonetta are legal.
the fix would have been, because the whole point is, well, we can't do stuff because of COVID, right? Right. The fix would have been to have a sanctioned tournament with all the right things in place. Make sure people are quarantined. Obviously, it can only happen with people in the United States, so all the world, Japan players or whatever couldn't play. But that means more people from the US get a chance. They get a shot.
That also means newer, untested players get a shot to be seen.
So have them come in. They could play locally on the system, or you could do System Link or whatever, and they could be socially distanced apart or what have you. Everybody's tested before they come in. They stay there for a couple of weeks so nobody catches anything, kind of situation, and then you have your tournament, and then it's safe and it's fine. You don't have to do any modding or anything like that, and you still get your tournament money. I don't understand.
Hey, guess what? We can call this the AEW method.
There you go.
Basically. And for God's sakes, turn on items.
AEW, NBA, they seem to be getting it right. I don't understand.
Look, I don't mind people not wanting to play with items, but if you want to do a tournament without them, do a tournament without them, but leave the opportunity for a tournament to happen with them. Yeah. I just don't like the people shooting down people that like to play with items, and they find a way to they like the chaos of the game being incorporated.
Right. Yeah.
So that's how it was designed.
Yeah, and that's why I take it back to I have never heard anybody say Mario Kart was a simulation racer.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, yes, Smash Bros. Is a fighter, but it's also a party game.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. And that's what it still is.
It's the only fighting game that I've played consistently where I have a blast losing, and you can't really say that about too many other fighting games. No matter how many modes you throw in there, I have fun. It doesn't matter whether or not somebody's doing whatever. Now people are going to be on the internet. They're going to troll. They're going to create certain teams to do whatever. But if you're sitting down with a bunch of friends that you know and you play that game, I have never had more fun just playing. Whether I know how to play with a character or not, I have fun playing. So and something random happens, it's hilarious. It's not, oh my god, this game is wrecked. Like I've never been in that scenario.
I've only known one person to complain like that. I've only known one person that complained like that, and we clearly pissed him off. Yeah, we clearly pissed that person off because he never played with us again.
See, it's fun to me to see somebody get blown up by a barrel and shot from one end of the stage to the pop off on the other side.
Happens. Like,
and then you realize, then the fear that you realize they have Kirby, so they're just coming right back to the damn screen.
Right. It's just the excitement because I get it. You want to test your will and everything else without the items. That's cool. But like I said, the same thing kind of went for me when I was playing Mario Tennis. There are some people that want it as the original way, none of this extra stuff that's on there. But then you like the excitement of you don't know what's going to turn the tide of the match if something comes in as far as items go.
Like now, if that's the case, why isn't it Virtual Tennis a big game like that then? Like, it clearly is a superior game as far as simulation.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But there's a reason why people continue to play the Mario sports games and Mario Party games.
I know the secret. It's Nintendo's characters.
Yep, basically.
You got that too, but I was actually looking into some tennis games because I was like, I haven't seen a good tennis game in a while, and apparently the older games are better to where there's some key things that are missing, and they just kind of messed it up. So but yeah, the characters, that was the same thing with F-Zero. When you look at something like what was the game that came out early that was kind of a replica of F-Zero? I forget the name. Fast RMX. Fast RMX that came out. People liked it, but they didn't love it because like I said, it's that character appeal.
Listen.
It was the same thing with Extreme G when it came out.
I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. If you can't play that game, you can't play F-Zero.
No, F-Zero is not
way harder.
Way harder.
Way harder.
Like
I'm with you.
Extreme G was for people who couldn't play F-Zero.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Extreme
G wasn't easy. Don't get me wrong.
Extreme G was like the baby step to F-Zero.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Extreme G was not easy, but you had a shot at winning.
Right. F-Zero, if you got a good enough player and they got that lead, you are not catching them the whole race.
Yep. Nope. F-Zero is what Wipeout wanted to be, basically, is what and Wipeout is not exactly a bad game, but F-Zero is the frustrating you will be first or you will be last game. That's literally what it is.
So,
and
this is why I'm starting to understand why Nintendo ain't bringing it back, because they know it's gonna cause fights.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You think Mario Kart causes fights?
Ooh.
Nah,
man.
Nah. Cat's gonna choke somebody out with that doggone that GameCube controller. Choke somebody out with that. They bring F-Zero back. So to put this in perspective, basically, I think everybody just needs to understand the awesomeness of Kirby looking like Sephiroth.
I think so. That he's in the game now. Now that Sephiroth's there, that's a thing.
It's luxurious hair. It's cursed. It's a fake sword. It's kind of funny because it's not as long. It's comically accurate.
Yes.
So yeah.
What if he stole his Final Smash too, though?
That would have been hilarious.
That'd be
That would have been hilarious. But you just see a pink Kirby that's smiling.
Honestly, I would not be surprised if Sakurai wanted to do that, and he was like, "Nah, that's just too much work."
Yeah.
It's just amazing that such a game has people on either side of the spectrum so, how can I say that, with so much fervor. Either you're extremely excited for it, you're an extreme hater about it, and you kind of really wish that PlayStation All Stars was as good, and you just really are in awe of that such a thing could happen. This game changed history. Like,
yeah, I mean, you got people at Capcom saying, "Look, man, we wanted to have Street Fighter V to be kind of like what Smash Bros. Is, and we failed miserably."
Right.
Oh,
they said that
they failed spectacularly.
Yeah. Like they wanted everybody in theirs, and from their large roster, they're like, "Nah, we couldn't do it." But they pulled it off.
Their biggest problem was that they tried too much to cater to the fighting game community instead of just making the game the way it should have been.
Yes. There's a good chance that Street Fighter Cross Mortal Kombat might only happen in Smash. There's a good chance.
Yeah.
There's a good chance.
So you think that rumor true?
I'm not sure.
That Sub-Zero is coming.
I just know that going forward at some point in the future, it's got to be obvious.
I mean, Ed Boon's been clamoring for it for the longest. I mean, I'm assuming it would happen.
And if he does come, there's only one person that you have to fight him with. Bowser. There's only one person. It has to be Bowser.
I was just going to say Sub-Zero and Ryu, but that's a whole
other thing.
Bowser.
I'm a wild.
He scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, he's trolling me here.
Nah, Bowser.
He's trolling me here.
Gotta have Bowser.
Dad's at large. Dad's at large.
Yep. Gotta have Bowser.
I mean, I was thinking Ryu or Ken. Well, Ken more because of the flaming dragon punch, but still.
Okay. So I'll meet you halfway. Terry Bogard.
Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, if that happened, that would be the first time Terry and Sub-Zero crossed in the game too.
Yep.
Yeah. So I wonder, is there going to be? They're not going to add any more Summer Showdown characters are going to be there at all. They should be.
I really hope
somebody should.
Haruo needs to be there.
Hamaru showed up in there.
Somebody. Well, I don't think it's going to be Hamaru because he's in Soul Calibur. They're probably going to get somebody else.
So Nakaruru then?
No, Nakaruru.
That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe, but what about the dude with the blue hair? I'm trying to think of his name.
With the dog?
One that throws the apple out. That throws the apple.
Oh, you're talking about Yukio.
Oh, okay.
Yukio Tachibana.
I don't.
Always trying.
I don't like him.
Was he a face of the franchise then though?
Yeah, he was. Because the first game, it was their rivalry. It was the first game was their rivalry.
Yeah.
Until
Genjiro showed up.
Genjiro showed up, and then it became him. Which I was like, how are you going to toss that man aside like that?
Well, because they killed him. Remember, they gave him tuberculosis. They killed him.
Right.
They're like, hey, look, man. Hey, look, bro. Look, bro. We got too many characters. We got to get rid of one of them. How we gonna do it? Just say the pretty boy had TB.
Unless they take Hanzo and put him in instead, because he would be a good character too.
Yeah, that's what I was like, because I was thinking they were gonna do, because there's a couple rumors going around. One of them is Ryu Hayabusa, which to me that makes more sense. Love that. I did not expect. I'm gonna tell you right now. I thought that's who we was gonna get. I didn't expect Sephiroth, because I was like, Square Enix ain't gonna let nobody else over. I don't know how the hell Sakurai pulled this off, but I thought it was gonna be Ryu Hayabusa. So I don't know.
I mean,
at this point, I don't even know.
But I'm sitting there like, if we get Hayabusa, why can't we get Joe Musashi from
That's the other thing. I don't know, because who has to sign off on that? Sega.
Yeah,
Sega has to sign off on that, right?
But everybody's in the pocket though. Team Ninja's there, so Ryu Hayabusa could be there, Ayane or whoever. You've already got Sega in the pocket with Bayonetta being there. Yep. So I don't see any reason. I'm still trying to figure out why the Virtual Fighter characters aren't there and why they're Mii's.
Well, because I think that was one of the ones he tried to get, and they said no for whatever reason, and that's why. But they did let Jackie go over, since Jackie was the face of Virtual Fighter.
Jackie and Kira.
Yeah, because remember he caught hell getting Cloud and Ryu in.
Right.
Yeah. I
Because
mean,
Capcom, which I don't understand why Capcom said no. I would know. I take that back. I do understand why Capcom said no because he made Ryu look better than damn. In his
Yeah,
game.
he did.
So
He did.
I understand why.
Mega Man was pretty good too. The way they brought Mega Man in, everything fit, and I was like, they made Mega
sense.
Man in this game better than they did in Marvel, and he was pretty good in Marvel.
And he made sense. He just made sense.
Unless you count Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and then Mega Man X is very the character.
Yeah, I'm talking about the old Infinity Stone engine.
Can I ask y'all fighting aficionados a question?
What?
So,
where's Darkstalkers? Is that what you're about to say?
No, I already know what that is.
Costume Street Fighter 5.
Yeah, my question is, what fighting game would you love to see Sakurai just have one crack at?
Darkstalkers.
Pretty much.
Damn, that was quick. I was gonna say
pretty much
Project Justice, but that's me. I was gonna say Project Justice.
Yes,
that is a good one.
Yes,
because I could see him because of how wacky the characters are. I could see him working with that, but you got to think about what he would do with characters like Morrigan, Felicia, and Dimitri especially. What he would do with those characters.
First he would give them clothes.
No.
Not exactly. Not
Bayonetta is kind of still borderline.
No, I'm saying if it's
stays true
legit,
to him, though.
If it's a legit Darkstalkers game, he ain't got to worry about those requirements.
But he won't put. True. I was about to say, but he didn't put Maya in Smash. I guess because Smash is a teen game, but.
Right. Well, no, the problem with
her game was never mature rated, but okay.
That's more a Japan issue than anywhere else.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with Maya is the jiggle. Y'all know what the problem with Maya was.
But the game wasn't rated M anywhere in the world. I don't understand.
Well, Shadow, because we didn't have a goddamn rating system back then. You know that. Jack, what about you? What fighting game would you like to see Sakurai take a shot at?
Honestly, like I always go back to one of my favorites, and that's Power Stone. Just to kind of see what you actually do with that.
I was thinking that too.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, because the reason why I was thinking about that, because I started thinking about PlayStation All-Stars. I actually got PlayStation All-Stars. It was not a bad game. The problem was they tried to make it serious. It wasn't fun.
Yeah.
There was nothing fun about it. They were trying to be ultra serious with it.
But
and
the characters are not appealing though. Like
and the way they could have did that, the way they honestly could have did that, Cloud, Sephiroth, and Chrono needed to be in there. And neither. I was like, I knew Cloud and Sephiroth was coming. No, they didn't.
Nope.
Did you have an issue telling where characters were as well? Like,
no, not really. No. On the PSP version, I did. On the console version, I did.
On the console, you didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some issues losing characters quite a bit because they didn't seem like they stood out amongst a lot of
delved into the background.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you were playing as Nathan Drake against anybody great. So I mean, but that's what I was thinking. I'm like, man, I'm like, if you're going to copy the guy, go talk to him. Sakurai
he wouldn't be open to it.
Well, Sakurai does not seem like the type of guy to be like, I ain't gonna tell you. Sakurai seems like he'll tell you.
It's not like Sony and Nintendo don't talk. So like, I don't understand. Like they just say, hey, look, we're building a fighting game, and we would like some of your input. Like we're not exactly trying to copy anything. We want to use our own blah blah blah. What did you guys do to make Smash so unique? We don't even want to copy it. Just give us some focus tips on what because we got programmers. We know how to program stuff. Just tell us what your focuses were, why you were, and then go from there, man. They'll give you plenty of tips, I'm sure.
And then Sakurai would say, first of all, you need to put in a baseball bat and a Giga fan.
See, I think their biggest problem, like Jay said, is they tried too much to make it serious instead of just making it fun.
I think that's the biggest problem about their properties altogether. They could have just taken some
whacked out story and said that Shuhei Yoshida had pulled all these characters together and just plot them into a world to see who would win a fight. They could have done that.
I mean,
keep it simple.
All Smash Bros. Is a Toy Story. That's all Smash Bros. Is Toy Story.
Literally,
all it is.
When you look at
the Nintendo's Toy Story.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go back in the first two games, is a literal kid pulling the toys out of the damn toy box. That's what it is. So I'm like, and you know what? God damn it, that's what they need to do the damn anime series off of. God dang it. That's how to do the anime series.
Oh man,
it's that easy. God dang.
But yeah, like Shadow was saying, I mean, PlayStation themselves, they just try to be too serious. Because I mean, even when I had the opportunity, like when my first son was being born, right? I had the opportunity to be at home for weeks. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna play some games I hadn't played. So I was just gonna binge through them. I went through all of the Jack and Daxter series and all the Ratchet and Clank series. By the time I got to Jack and Daxter 3, I was like, what the hell happened? Because it just turned into like
they lost the
this
charm.
apocalyptic, like underground. Like I was like, what is this? I was confused.
They were trying to be something they weren't. Because you
Right.
gotta remember when it was Sony, Nintendo, and Sega, Sony had way more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sony had a bunch of crazy games out there, like
And they actually had mascots. They actually had mascots, plural.
Until they
not
sold
one.
Yeah, until they sold them. Because I was about to say Crash and Spyro going.
Crash, Spyro,
Ratchet and Clank's still around, but
Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter.
Sly Cooper's gone.
Yeah, Sly.
Oh, I forgot.
Is Parappa gone? Do they still own him?
They kind of
I don't
still
think
own
they
him,
ever did.
but
I think they ever
don't. They ain't done nothing with him though.
Yeah, I'm about to say outside of that remake, I guess you can call it.
Yeah,
that's about it.
I mean, Katamari, like all the kind of the type of franchises they have access to, there's no reason for them to have the issues that they have. They can go back and they don't have to be, hey, we're the ultra serious whatever, blah blah blah. You can come up with all these different bubbly type things, or you can add them into the serious game per se. Like I'm looking at my background right now, which is all Killer Instinct. I put Killer Instinct everywhere. And the current Killer Instinct right now is absolutely retarded because this game looks and sounds so serious, and then one of your DLC characters is Rash from Battletoads.
Right.
And they make him fit and they make him make sense with all the buffoonery.
But somehow he doesn't make sense in that game. But in his own game, he doesn't make sense.
Makes no sense.
So it can be done. So if Microsoft can do that, albeit with two different teams helping them, if they can make that happen with a property that, I mean, even the company that made it doesn't want anything to do with it anymore, but that's a whole nother topic. Then Sony can do it with their own IPs. Like they can make Jack and Daxter both serious and fun at the same time. They could have done the same thing with Sly. They could do it with Infamous. They could do it with everything but Resistance, I guess. Resistance and what's the other Gorilla game? Yeah, they'll keep those serious or what have you. But all your other games can be a mix. They can be a blend. So because y'all say, Shuhei Yoshida said it himself. He said, look, we look for the Nintendo gamers because that's going to be the next Sony gamer at some point because we want to sell stuff to them. So have a gateway drug for them to come in and be whatever. Because right now I'm just a disgruntled game, and I'm like, the stuff I grew up with still fucking works. So I'm just going to play that instead of your broken shit.
Right.
That's kind of where I'm at right now. So
well, the other thing too that I think Sony could probably do is stop trying to keep up with Joneses. They should have never went that route to begin with.
Nah, they should.
They should have never went it. I mean, dude, they have Mark and Rise of the Kree.
Yep.
And if you want to, and the other thing too is, Rise of Kasai. If you wanna talk about a game that was serious, but people thought it wasn't, that freaking Wind Waker.
Yeah.
When you play that game, that is probably one of the most violent Zelda games I've played. But everybody think Twilight Princess is Bruh.
Cartoony appearance only.
Yeah, Ganondorf was on his pimp. I'ma kill everybody in Wind Waker. How you kill somebody, pull their soul out of their body, destroy their body, so technically they ain't dead and they can't go back to a body.
That sounds like hell.
That's torture.
Yeah, like they're not dead. Because
that's straight up
technically they won. He just straight ripped their souls out of their body, killed their body, and like, okay, now you can't go nowhere. Now what?
Yeah.
All you had to do was just do what I said. Pump.
Yeah. I mean, Sony done painted themselves in this corner now because I mean, even if you look at this launch, nobody's talking about Sackboy. I said, I mean, it like a decent platformer too. Like nobody's talking about Sackboy. Now they talking about Astrobot because of all the stuff that they gave to you. Oh, you can collect the PS3, you can collect all the history of PlayStation, but in regards to that, that's about it. Like they done painted themselves in this third-person story corner.
And the funny thing about it, I think the only game outside of Astro was was Miles Morales. That's the only thing they talked about.
Yeah, and glorified DLC.
Maybe
So like,
Yeah.
how do you even and then these same people had the nerve to laugh about the launch of Nintendo Switch, or I would say had the nerve to laugh about the launch of Wii U. Like I can't even. Oh, but there was nothing to play, and I'm like, but there was
still
30 third-party games ready, like
at launch.
Like I don't know what
that worked perfectly.
Did y'all forget this launch in 2012? Did y'all forget? Like, and then all we were playing was Resogun in 2013, and then Did I remember it wrong? Like what?
No,
I was happened about this stuff at lunch. Like
Shadow, are you not forgetting your best friend Brian Altano?
Oh yeah, rap.
So
let me stop before more of their ninjas come after me. I guess whatever.
And ain't nobody scared of them. So before we get out of here, there was a bright spot that I caught like early this morning because hashtag I want to go there. Super Nintendo World.
Man,
saw that last night. Man.
I watched that yesterday.
Okay, so Nintendo dropped a little 15-minute direct where they had Miyamoto just show everybody what the Super Nintendo World in Japan looks like, the Universal. Now, the one in America was supposed to come out, I think, 2022, but that got pushed back because of COVID. I think they're talking about the earliest they may get it out is summer 2023 at the earliest.
Yeah, and that's going to be Hollywood first before it's in Florida.
That's why I hate it. Man, I wanted Florida first. I'm right here.
Right.
Yeah.
Team East Coast.
I was sitting there looking at it, and I'm just sitting there like, one, I thought Miyamoto was supposed to retire like 5 years ago, and two, I'm sitting there like,
and he's a giant kid.
Yeah, I'm like, can I get? Can we travel again?
Yeah, I want to go there.
I want to go there.
Everybody want to go there.
Oh, so I'm looking at it. They got so it's basically a giant AR park.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a game.
Yeah, it's a giant AR park game.
I want to go.
Yeah, I was so surprised that I didn't see any type of Switch interaction there, kind of like how they used to do like the Mariner Stadium with the 3DS and everything. Yeah, but
I got a feeling it's gonna be there.
I think they're gonna be because you can take your bands home with you. So I think they're going to incorporate something with it. So
I know when it does come out, I'm going and I'm probably staying for a week.
Right. Like I literally held off from going to Universal for that very reason when it initially was supposed to come out on time. But I know one thing I didn't like about the whole thing was some of the food they were showing. I know it's not coming here. I know we're gonna have something totally different.
Yeah. I think the menus are gonna be like specific for the country or region. Right. I don't think they're gonna be like if you want to have
what they got though. I don't care.
They're gonna be like American trash for you because you're America.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to actually go over there to get that if that's what you're gonna do. Because I was just looking and the whole I want that Mario Kart. I want that. I want that experience, man. I want that experience. I want that
with 3D glasses too.
This makes me think of this makes me think of that's why Mario Kart Live got released. Yeah. It's a little teaser.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to try it so bad because you got the whole AR thing because there's already like an arcade type ordeal like that in Japan, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. My nephew was telling me about it, and that was like 4 years ago because that's when he was stationed over in Guam. He was like they went to this arcade and he was like on the third floor. That's what it was. It was all AR.
Yep, Mario Kart AR. So like with this being a thing, like Nintendo's not playing any games. They've already shown
money into that.
We've got apps we've got dedicated apps on mobile devices that promote our games.
Right.
We have a actual theme park now. Mario's an official mascot, like Lookout Mickey Mouse type. Yeah. And it was going to be worse because he was going to be the official mascot of the Olympics this year too.
Right.
Ain't gonna be. He still is. It's him, Goku, and Sonic.
Like all of Tokyo was keying in on those franchises. So that would have been a real big deal. And now I'm only thinking that the pandemic is just going to make it even worse. Once they open the floodgates for us nasty Americans to come over there, it's going to be buying plane tickets like off the chain.
It's only popping because I've already got my plan week. I want to go during Golden Week.
Like Like, what kid doesn't want to go see that? Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take my family.
Yeah, because between that and like wanting to get back into arcades, like that would be where I spend most of my time. That and food, like just trying to get into the culture. Because I tell anybody, even with me doing my traveling in the military, even the stuff we have here, like you go somewhere else and you say, I don't want to try nothing I have back at home. But even their stuff is better than what we have here,
and healthier.
Thank you. Like it's weird. It's so weird because I remember when I first went to Germany and we went to a McDonald's because it was the closest thing to us at the time. And they're serving chicken, like kebabs and everything else. And then they got beer that they serve in there. And the whole, like, their McDonald's is just killing our McDonald's. It's weird, man.
We can't even get sweet tea done right. We can't even get sweet tea done right in this McDonald's.
Can't get sweet tea. Depending on what side of the country you live on, you ain't getting good sweet tea.
You ain't getting good sweet tea unless you down in the South. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Unless you in Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, Alabama, Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, you ain't getting good sweet tea at no doggone McDonald's. You not.
Can't get grits right. Just depending on where you live.
Talking about this sweet tea and that junk ain't got no sugar in it.
Right.
That is like the most watered down sweet tea.
We put Splenda in your sweet tea.
No. There's a time for sweet tea, and it's not the South.
I want you to get this 10-pound bag of Dixie Crystals. That enough.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite direct. Probably in a year or two.
That had me excited.
That and the sad thing about it is, if the pandemic did not happen, we would probably be able to go see that at the end of next year.
Yep.
Because the one in Hollywood was supposed to be in summer of next year initially.
Yes, I think so.
And the one in Orlando was supposed to have been, I think, fall of next year, because they would do them at the same time. Yeah. So I'm sitting there like, man. But when they go, I'm gonna tell you right now, when they open, that junk's gonna be sold out for months.
And I'm not trying to go. I'm trying to fly. I'm not trying to go over there. I'm not. I don't even want to do like you. If you haven't done the Universal Studios thing yet, you were talking about it earlier, Jack. But I mean, like it's great there. Like doing the resort thing or whatever, and then just be able to go walk back and forth and ride everything and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But man, what I just saw is a completely different and that's your excuse to be in Shibuya. That's your excuse to go for rare games. You can find whatever kind of rare food you want to eat, whatever kind of sushi you want to find. That's your excuse to go see all of that.
So that's your excuse to go ahead and get a piece out of vending machine.
There you go. Piece out of vending machine. You can look at a cat hotel. You can see one. You don't have to participate. You just say, hey, there's where guys go to be weird. But that's you can say you were there.
And you can go take a picture of the Nintendo Love Hotels.
Yep. There you go. That exists.
It exists, yes.
Those are the things. And then the original playing card house, too. The original headquarters.
Yeah, Hanafuda. The original Hanafuda house?
Original Hanafuda house is there as well. Obviously, in Tokyo, the new joint operations headquarters is there too. But at this point, I'm just there for the culture. Like I want to eat the food. I want to see all the weird manga shops and all that. And
I want to see a random Samuel L. Jackson sighting.
There you go. Random Samuel. That makes it part of the tour. So to me, that would be much more of an experience than them bringing that here and then they mute it with our boring food and other. Right. Like I don't even want to be a part of that, to be honest with you. So I would say if we were going to preview any of them, it's Japan all the way.
Right.
Well, I will say this: I will take out an AR Mario Kart party at any point in time at any place, because I'm going to lose on purpose so I can snatch victory from whoever's winning.
Right. How do we not have that already? Like, really?
I guess because Mario Kart GP probably didn't do well here, because I've seen very few of the GP2 machines. So they're like, well, if the GP2 machines aren't doing well over here, why should we spend the extra thousands of dollars for the AR?
Because I don't think arcade does that great here anyway.
Yeah, don't.
Nah, it's only just Dave and Buster's taking risks,
right?
Basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's just extra money. That's just extra money for them.
Mm-hmm. And they're just hoping that it's going to be a big seller for them and it brings more foot traffic. At this point, they don't even care about the machine making more money for them. It's just how many more meals do we sell, or how many more.
Right.
And think about it like this: if a parent wants to come in with a birthday party, that's just way more money because
Yeah.
that's what they market the arcade as. Like, hey, look, we can do your birthday party.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you buy a whole bunch of tokens for everybody, let them go, blah blah blah. And so had the best birthday party ever because we went here and played games all day, kind of, whatever. And
So,
yeah, I just, man, what a time to be an investor
Yeah.
and go back into the arcade business again. Like literally
Right.
going back, finding the old arcade machines or building your own cabinets now because you can just do main
Yep.
really.
I mean, you can go to Walmart and Target and get an arcade one-up.
Nah.
Yes, but those are.
I'm just
way
saying.
smaller.
I mean, I'm
I
just
need
saying.
taller.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do
They
the
got
arcade
hold
one
on,
up.
hold on. They do have the one with the stand on it. The
With the stand,
Teenage
yeah.
Mutant Ninja
Yes.
Turtle. They do have that one to make it like how high it was for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I
now
like
they
the
do have-
cocktail cabinets because
Me
those
too,
are more of the traditional, and they're made the exact same way the old ones were. And you could just get a heavy duty glass to go on top of those, and
Right.
then
Yes,
you can
do that,
make it bar proof.
Yeah.
Mm.
But all right, people, that's gonna do it for this one. We kind of went a little long today. We do. Thank you for watching and all the other good stuff. So leave a comment. Let us know if you have played with shirtless Sephiroth, and also let us know what you guys think about the whole CD Projekt Red thing. Because I know a little bit about business and a little bit, I'm kind of like, look, man, it's kind of both of y'all fault, but
Right.
at some point, people got to take accountability. If you one of them people that was sitting up there hollering about they need to have it released now, take
Yep.
Got what you wish for.
responsibility because it's
Yep.
on your head too. So that's one of those things. But just leave a comment. Let us know what you guys think. Jack, anything you want to pimp out before we get out of here?
Nah, I'm gonna just try to speak that whole Switch Wii U partnership into fruition to try to make that happen with this new revision. I know it's not, but I'm gonna try to talk it into fruition like Super Metal Dave be trying to do. So
It works apparently. I don't.
All right, Shadow, anything you want to pimp out?
Nothing much. I'm afraid of no one, and my channel is going live soon. So there you go. And
All right.
it's really tough to fight against the industry. That much I will say.
Yeah. Especially when you, I'm not gonna say that. But Andre, anything you want to pimp out?
Not a whole lot. I mean, just got my normal stuff that's been posted. But the first Why You Know Game video in a long time posted earlier today, talking about a Fatal Fury beat 'em up. If anybody's interested.
Koei Tecmo, that's your cue.
No. That's SNK Play More because they actually did do good beat 'em ups back in the day. So if they mess this up, that'd be a problem.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
SNK Play More, Koei Tecmo, and Sakurai. That's your cue. But yeah, just to let you guys know, we are off for 2 weeks because it is Christmas and then there's New Year's, and then there's college football for me to get mad at. So, so yeah, we'll be back after the new year where we will talk about 2020 in memoriam.
The Walking Dead style.
Yeah.
That already.
We have to talk about it in memoriam because of the simple fact that this is when you actually do a game. I'm gonna be quiet. But so
and all the headshots that all the gaming companies got, they tried to fail.
But I will have some stuff on the gaming channel. So if you would like, just scroll over to the gaming channel. I have a couple of games up next week. I may do, because I got to work Christmas, I may do a live stream. I'm hoping that my laptop acts right. That's why I couldn't do the last couple live streams I wanted to do. But if you see it, you'll see it. But other than that, I will try to make sure I have some stuff up on the gaming side, the gaming channel. So just check that out. Got a couple of Let's Talks in the oven. I did put up my Sephiroth challenge. I got them, of course, but I did one for very easy, one for easy, one for normal, one for hard. Do not play Sephiroth with Ganondorf. Just do yourself that favor. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. He's too goddamn slow. But yeah, check those out when you have a chance. I'll have that arcade run, the classic path for Sephiroth up in a day or two. So just check it out. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all those good stuff. Share it out if you like our stuff. It will be up on Anchor for the audio stuff. So if you just want to listen to the audio, it'll be up on Anchor, which will get you into Spotify. I think we're on Pandora now. and we're on Google Podcasts. So you can check us out in any way, shape, or form, and all of the good stuff. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting. And Wakanda Forever. Happy New Year. Peace out. See you in 2021.
Peace.
Peace out, everybody.